Just like a lot of people, I started playing video games back when I was a little guy. Being handed a unplugged controller by my older brother, thinking that I'm doing everything in this game, but in reality, the controller was unplugged, so I wasn't doing anything. I first opened the very first game in my ever-growing collection when I was 6 years old, and that game was Sonic and the Black Knight. And to this day, I still look back at that game very fondly. Growing up, I'd play Smash Bros. Brawl with friends at my birthday and other cousins at family gathering, but this kind of made me competitive. Playing against my cousins and siblings, considering the age gap between us, I'd lose a lot. And when I mean a lot, I mean I could not get in a single win for ages. But being the competitive person I was, I did not take that sitting down. I would endlessly play Brawl every single moment I could, coming home, going straight down to the basement after school, and just going at it until dinner time. Until finally, I couldn't lose. Anytime I'd play against my friends or my family, I would beat them. And I became so obsessed with this idea of being the best at this game that a lot of people I knew just stopped playing with me because it was just this horrible thing that I would ever let them win. But now, this video isn't some sob story about, oh, I became disillusioned with competitive games because people wouldn't play with me. Oh, I just was way too good at this. No, that is egotistical and not something I would complain about. But the point I'm trying to make here is games are meant to be fun. That's the entire reason they were ever even created. They'll stop playing these games once they stop being fun. And video games have been fun for me my whole life. I have over 300 games in my collection. Have I played all of them? No. But I have played most of them and I've had such a good time doing so. And the entire way games have been fun for me has completely changed along with the rest of the world. From what used to just be me messing around became me wanting to win. And with the rise of esports, that also happened to everybody else. Now, when COVID hit, I noticed everybody I knew started to play Animal Crossing. People I didn't even know had any interest in Nintendo bought a Switch, and they started playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. And as a longtime Animal Crossing fan who had been playing City Folk since he was a little kid, and even played New Leaf since the game came out, I put over 50 hours into that game in just a short span of time. But I still had this competitive itch. Part of me felt like this wasn't the right way to be playing games because I couldn't win. And my only option at the time, since I didn't really play all that many multiplayer games, I tried to play Smash Ultimate's online mode. And if anyone has had experience with that, they know it's a laggy, frame rate killing system that just really is hard to actually get good practice in. And over 2020, I gradually stopped playing games because I just didn't think I could have fun with them anymore. But that was until I discovered an incredible series called Ori. In late November, early December, I had been browsing the Nintendo eShop on my Switch, hoping to find just something to entertain me as I sat through my boring Zoom classes. And after looking for a little while, I bought two games, which were Stardew Valley and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And the latter of which, I absolutely fell in love with it. Before I'd become obsessed with being the best at multiplayer games, I loved single player games. Series such as Legend of Zelda, Sonic the Hedgehog, Pokemon, the list goes on. Ori had been the first of these single player games that I fell in love with for years. The last game I had fallen in love with that was single player was Skyward Sword. Yeah, took me that long to find another single player game to fall in love with. And I can still remember vividly sitting in my bed late at night crying over the fact that in Ori I had just saved my little owl friend from this big owl and I became a literal tree. And, well, spoiler, by the way, for those who haven't played it. Sorry about that. I didn't care about playing this game faster than anybody I knew. I didn't care about being more efficient with my pathing, or even optimizing my combat, or even breaking the game with bugs, glitches, and exploits. I just wanted to explore new one. I wanted to see what the woods and what the forest had for me, and that exploration is what became fun for me. Now, a lot of games, I think nowadays, have sort of lost this idea of letting your player explore it by themselves and really get invested. With the rise of popular multiplayer games, online multiplayer games namely, such as League of Legends, Valorant, Elden Ring, pretty much any game released recently has to have some sort of competitive or hardcore edge to it in order to really be considered a groundbreaking game. I've even seen this in MMOs I've tried to get into because I think I would really like their format, but a lot of them have become so highly optimized, it feels like a waste of time for me to spend hours playing it by myself, learning the game, rather than just saving myself 20, 30 hours and just watching 10 hours of guides and YouTube videos. And this high barrier of entry for modern games is so high, I'm starting to get scared for new people interested in gaming. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's wrong for people to want to scratch that competitive itch. I'm not saying it's wrong for hardcore games to do what they do, but what I'm saying is I feel like they're being funneled into this competitive space. New players have to get above average in order to really be having fun with these games. And I want these new players to be able to have those same experiences I did growing up on my birthday, opening a present, seeing a new game, and rushing to my console to play it. I want them to have that experience and have a good time with these new games, rather than getting their asses kicked for 7 hours and then finally figuring out, oh, I can just dodge 70 times and within 2 hours I'll be able to get this boss dead. And I even want them to be able to have fun with games without needing to make a video essay to explain why they love these games. Sonic was and is still fun for me because he's always been funny, he's never taken himself too seriously, and I've always been able to just put the cares of the world aside that I had and just go fast. And of course, not every game is becoming super hardcore and highly competitive. I've been having so much fun playing games like High on Life, Sonic Frontiers, Near Replicant, and they're fun for whole different reasons, but new players don't have to understand why Kenny's a sentient gun or how to shoot miles into the air because you accidentally hit a bad part of the geometry just to have a good time. I can have fun just to have fun. I have the option to set additional challenges for myself, different hard modes, different things I can do to have a different experience that might be more fun, but I'm not required to have all those challenges set on myself. I can play through the game as it was made, and I don't have to spend the first 5 hours figuring out how to deal the most damage. Players should be rewarded for putting in all the time to learn the ins and outs of a game, but they shouldn't be required to do this. They shouldn't be required to learn every single frame of the game. It should be easy and carefree with the option to be harder. Now, of course, everybody can have fun with games how they want to. If a game's specifically designed for it to be this hard, then like Soulsborne games, I'm fine with that. Those games can do what they do, but every game shouldn't be forced into this mold of being incredibly difficult and having players to optimize every single part of the gameplay just to have fun. Those few months of playing Animal Crossing with my friends and just beating each other over the head with bug nets was some of the most fun I had all of 2020. The whole point of these games is to be fun. That's the point of any game. So the next time you talk to your friends about a game they recently just played, regardless of what it is, if they're having fun with it, let them have fun with it. Let them have fun even though it got a crappy 3.9 rating on IGN, and even if for some reason some game dev is watching this and actually taking my input, let the casual audience have a bit more love, okay? Let them mess around with your game, add more customization options, and please release the game complete and not have us have a 30 gigabyte day one update just to fix stuff in the game that you didn't see before you put it out. And hopefully we can bring those days of just giggling with your friends on the couch after you've figured out how to Luigi ladder to the moon. Hopefully we can bring those days back. Because I want to enjoy these games however I want to. But with games becoming more in the mainstream and becoming more hardcore, I'm scared I can't do that. So please, games are supposed to be fun. Let's let them be.